Although Kamala Harris has not done any press since she was the, well, nominee that never got any votes, her platform is leaking out and it sure sounds like, well, communism. We've got details. We have to discuss the agenda that's dribbling out of the Democrat platform, specifically things that Kamala Harris has referred to in some speeches, but has not answered any questions about. So nobody knows quite how it's going to happen. But the most bizarre proposal from the Democrat Party is to address rising food prices, which anybody that has had any, even high school economics understands is a direct result of massive inflation of the currency by the federal government. Kamala Harris blames massive increases in food prices on, get this, price gouging. The supermarket chains have come out with evidence that shows the average markup is like 1.25% or something like that. I mean, the margins are like this. They're barely surviving. I'm talking about the big chain supermarkets. And Kamala Harris wants to have, in her first 100 days, she wants to have the Federal Trade Commission and prosecutors to go after companies that they determine price gouge. I don't know how this is going to be determined. You know, every single country in the world that has tried something like this has resulted in massive food shortages and bread lines. The perfect example is Russia, China, and all of the Eastern European countries, and the what I would call the banana republics in South America. Everyone that tries to regulate prices destroys the food chain. And what happens is supply vanishes.
Yeah.
And it's a privilege to get a loaf of bread at any price. I mean, is this a communist agenda?
Yes, it absolutely is a communist agenda. It's taken straight out of the Communist Manifesto, 1848, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. And I'll admit, I did not do all that well in my 2 econ courses that I was required to take for my master's degree, but I did learn that price controls do not work. When you impose price controls, just as you say, Barry, you force producers out of business, whether they be the supermarkets producing the food or any other commodity or good in the market. But when you disallow them, when you do not permit the producers to actually recoup the actual costs of their production, and that means the raw materials for whatever it is they're making, it means the employee, wages that they have to pay. It means overhead, like the building or the electricity of that building that they're in. All of these costs are built in, and there's nothing the producers can do about them. And even if the government were to impose price controls on those things, the electric company, let's say, it's just a cascading effect of then these individual companies in the what heretofore might have been a free market capitalist system. They can't make ends meet. They can no longer produce. And what happens? They close down. And that's exactly where you say, Barry, that you get these shortages, you get black markets, you get poverty and hunger. And we have, as you said, so many examples of where this has happened, from the Soviet Union, Russia, to China, again, under Mao. Remember the Great Leap Forward, when who knows how many tens of millions died of starvation, to our own hemisphere, as you say. Venezuela is a good example. Cuba's another one. But when the producers are driven out of the market and can no longer produce what they used to, in particular here, let's talk about food. That's when you get the long lines of people around the block lining up for handouts from the government, and there's never enough, and then people die. Why, Comrade Kamala, as President Trump has begun to call her in this afternoon's rally in North Carolina, by the way, Comrade Kamala, why she doesn't understand that or know about these previous examples, I don't know. And I guess that her running mate, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, really wasn't shown around much in communist China, so maybe he doesn't know about that either.
Well, as a history lesson, and your points are well taken, Kamala's estranged father was a communist.
Yes,
And,
mother too, both.
you are often what you're incubated in, you know, and to her, the government controlling your life and what you consume and where you live and how you work and how you're transported. These are all, by the way, parts of her new platform.
Yeah.
They're going to give away massive amounts of money to give people down payment money.
Yeah, for purchasing a home,
Right.
mortgage,
And
down payment.
going to be child tax credits, and there's going to
Yep.
be no tax on tips. Guess where that came from, Donald Trump? Prescription drug prices are going to be set by the government. There's going to be Medicare for all paid for by the government. She wants a massive increase in the minimum wage instituted by the government. My God, this sounds like the old Soviet Union. It didn't work there then, and it sure as heck isn't going to work here. She
No.
is simply not a capitalist.
Not at all. I mean, these are policies taken, I'm telling you, literally points 1 to 10 straight out of the middle of the Communist Manifesto, where it is written that the entire purpose of communism is government control of everything, private ownership of nothing, complete control by the government of all means of production, as well as of banking, communication, and education.
Sounds like the perfect White House under the Harris-Walz agenda, should they be elected. Wow.
Let's hope not.